Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back to White Dads Can't Jump. Here with the main man, Chad. Chad, how's it going? Pretty
I'm
good.
doing
It
well.
looks like
How
you
are
got,
you doing tonight?
yeah,
I'm
we're
excited for
rocking and
episode
rolling.
3.
It looks like you got a new mic configuration there. You've upgraded.
Oh, yeah, we got a mic arm here. Hopefully, I'm coming a little clearly through so I can really emote my emotions to the
For the
audience.
audience, can't wait. Okay, so prom was this weekend. How'd prom treat you?
Prom was pretty well. First off, I wasn't going as an attendee.
I think
Just want to
that's
throw that
important to
out there
note.
just to make sure everybody knows.
Right,
I was going as a chaperone, right? Well, you never know
of
in
course.
today's world. You see all kinds of stories of people doing all kinds of stuff. So I just want to put that out there. It was good. It was a really nice venue. I was really impressed with the location where we're at. A lot of lakes in the background. Pretty much anywhere you go is pretty picturesque with that opportunity in the back. But yeah, it was good. No real issues
Yeah.
that I'm aware of. So we'll find out throughout the week from the kids if something happened
Ran
more
pretty
than we already
smooth
have.
from what I heard. And I did learn something this weekend about you that I was unaware of before, but I think it is important that our audience is also aware of.
I don't know what he's about to say, so I'm a
It's
little
about
nervous right now.
attire. So, do you own a do-rag?
Well, I thought I did, but evidently I've been told otherwise.
Okay.
So let me set the scene for you. So, um, as most parents do, you let your kid go and pick out some gifts for your significant other. We go to Five Below, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Everything used to be under $5. But anyway, so my daughter got me one of those mission towel cooling wraps that go on your head. It's like a hood. And then it goes on your back. You wet it, you snap it, and it's supposed to keep you cool. And I went running yesterday and it was like 90 degrees here. And I thought, oh, wow, look at this. This is a do rag. So I popped it on the head, tied it in the back, and was immediately told that you can't wear
Were,
that.
were you emoting the wrong
So
look?
I was apparently for the area and my look didn't really carry it, but I did it anyway, and I made it back to the house safely, and
That's
it worked
wonderful.
great. So I used to wear when I was a kid, that was the era of Deion Sanders wearing his bandana under his football helmet. So everybody in the youth football circuit in the mid 90s, late 90s was wearing the bandana under their helmet. So, I mean, I did that all through high school and didn't think anything of it because, I mean, it was just the look of what you're doing. There wasn't the phrase cultural appropriation that
You
hadn't been
you
invented
weren't
yet
at risk of
or
getting
hadn't made its
canceled.
way to northwestern Pennsylvania yet. Right. Yeah. Not back then. I had a sweet Nike
Uh,
one before they had dry fit. Sometimes I wear it where it would pop up the top, but then sometimes I do a regular
Very nice.
headband look for it. It's pretty tight. Yeah. When I went to college, I got rid of it. A little different demographic, so I didn't want to play those games. Coming in as a freshman quarterback, you don't want to rock the boat.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for clearing the deck on that because the rumors were going around and I just wanted to set that straight.
Yeah, it is what it is.
So yeah, I mean, we had a little bit of a busy week, but not too much going on around the house. We just, did the normal school stuff. We hit prom pretty hard. That went well, and nothing else big going on
Uh,
on my end. How about you?
no,
Oh,
I
that's
mean
right, the
air
Blue
shows in
Angels.
town. Saw some fighter jets. Saw some fighter jets going up around the house. So that's kind of neat. We're kind of in the flight pattern or the turnaround pattern, I guess, for them to go back. But other than that, no, good weekend. Did some running, did some swimming. Like I said, summer has arrived in Florida.
Yeah, the
So it
heat
is
turned on in the last week.
hot,
That's what happened around here.
hot, hot. Yeah. It's funny. I saw that up north, it's going to be in single
Yes,
digits tomorrow
I'm jealous.
in the morning.
No,
Yeah. We didn't get that cold front.
we did not. Speaking of up north, I did see this week that apparently Montana still has a circus and it's in
Okay.
Butte, Montana. Yeah,
Like a
right. They're
stationary.
there full time. So if you ever need a circus, Butte, Montana is the place to head. And Viola
All
was the
right.
name of the elephant at the Montana circus. Viola was taking a bath. Everything was going just fine. And then one of the clown cars backfired and Viola left. I mean, Viola said, I'm out of here. And
How many
that
clowns were in the
wasn't
car?
cited in the article. What was noted was the fact
Oh,
that
okay.
Viola started walking towards town and actually walked through town, through Butte, Montana, and caused a bit of a traffic jam, right at the rush hour in Butte. And so they were able to recapture her after about an hour, but it was kind of a big mix up, to be honest with you.
I imagine it was, if, I mean, if you're in a circus town, if you could call it that, I mean, that, I guess it wouldn't
I
be
didn't
that
know that's what Butte
unusual
was
to
known for.
see circus animals. No, I didn't really know what it was known
Right.
for. I knew it existed and I know how to spell it, but other than that,
That's good.
I don't really know it. Big sky
That's
country up there
exactly right.
and elephants, evidently.
Yeah, Butte has
Glad they got her back.
returned safely.
Safe and sound.
Unlike some Florida residents who had a cylindrical object crash through their home in Naples, Florida. Naples, Florida, that's some nice real estate, and they're not actually right next to the Kennedy Space
Yeah.
Center. So, but apparently the International Space
No, it's
Station
not.
was shedding some debris, so they had a little unexpected house guest over there in Naples. I'm telling you,
What are
did it
the
burn
odds of
through the
that?
atmosphere?
I mean, you're just sitting there,
Yeah.
you're sitting at home,
Hey,
hanging out,
pass
and
the
all of a
chips.
sudden, space debris
Right.
stuff is flying through your window. Man, it's kind of
No,
cool.
I'm
Did they
sure
get to keep
NASA
it? They
came
probably
and
not.
said, "Hey, that we need that back."
I
My
wonder if
question
they get
is
compensated for that.
is that the reason those other people were stuck up there for the 7 months? Like their cylindrical object in Naples is what
Yeah,
they really needed.
maybe they gave them a week at space camp for their
Actually,
troubles.
1 year Disney made there's a top 10 business blunders every year. I'm sure you read the list. And Disney had a nice couple that were there to enjoy their day. And they were trying to get on the log ride. And, the log ride sits in a trough of water, as you would expect. This couple, when they got into the log ride, the log sank to the bottom. And so there was no floating down the river as you would expect on the log ride.
Now, was this a them problem or a Disney problem? Like, did
Yes,
they sink the boat or was the
they
boat not
sank the boat.
seaworthy?
So they sank the boat
Okay,
and
okay, okay.
obviously all the boats are made the same. So there was no sense in shuffling boats. They were not going to be able to ride the ride. So naturally, what would you expect Disney to do to compensate for the inconvenience, if you will?
I would imagine they would do something to make you
Quite
spend
no,
money
actually
at
quite the
Disney.
opposite. They gave them money. They gave them each $200 in food and drink gift certificates.
Well, they know they burn through that 200 really quick. So, I mean, hell,
Whoops.
they'll get you a burger and fries and maybe a milkshake.
So they got
Make
the
it a
team
double.
together and said, "What do you think could make these people's day magical again?" Maybe they
Well, I
weren't
mean,
wrong. I don't know.
that's
Right.
vital. Problem solving, yeah. I mean, you got to know
Absolutely.
your audience.
All right. Well, what is our main topic of the day today?
Well, and one thing I wanted to talk about was this because
Yeah,
I'm a
you're on the bumble.
Zennial, as they call us, because I don't really have a generation. I'm not a defined generation because I'm not a Gen X, but I'm too old to be a millennial because my youth was so different because I didn't have technology until after high school and that whatnot. So wanted to kind of hit those big moments in time that what we would call cultural touchstones were things that the generation all came together and saw or witnessed or like type of entertainment that we all consume that I don't know that they have that today. And I kind of feel bad for the youth. And what kind of brought me to this was, have you seen the new Naked
I
Gun
remember
trailer?
Naked Gun. I
Remember
have
Naked
not seen the
Gun?
trailer yet.
So
Okay.
there were 3 Naked Gun movies that came out: Naked Gun 1, Naked Gun 2.5, and Naked Gun 33 and a third. So
Just by
that
the
right there, if you
title,
don't know
I
what they
think
are,
that you can kind of
tells you
tell these are serious dramas.
what we're dealing with. So this is straight up dumb humor, like Police Academy stuff, which probably people don't even know what Police Academy is anymore. Austin Powers kind of used their humor in the late 90s, kind of Naked Gun-esque. So basically, in the new one, it's Liam Neeson is taking over the role.
The Taken
We know who
guy
Liam
is
Neeson
taking
is, of
over
course,
the
famous for
slapstick
taking
franchise.
the Taken guy. Yeah, I mean, he has, I think, done a good job of identifying where he's at in life. The
He
man
has a
is like
particular set of
65 years
skills.
old. Well, I think those have now transitioned into the Naked Gun,
Got it.
which I'm very excited about because there are certain things I will always laugh at dumb things. Like Airplane,
Absolutely.
if you're familiar with that movie, like just like, and Leslie Nielsen was in Airplane. He was the initial star of the Naked Gun trilogy at first. So I mean, his delivery is so dry, it's so good. They're so literal with what they're saying a lot of times, and I just love it, and I'm excited about it. And I bring that up because it kind of puts me at one of the big moments of my youth that I'm really still interested in. And it was one of those moments where everyone my age or a little bit older all witnessed together. And with the Naked Gun tie-in was OJ Simpson. Because OJ famously or infamously was accused, acquitted of committing an act of murder, a couple acts of murder for that
If the
matter.
glove does not
But he
fit.
was in the Naked Gun movies. He must have quit. So he was in the Naked Gun movies, and that's why it was so shocking to people that he could have done this. But that moment in time that, of course, I'm referencing is the Bronco chase of watching that happen on live TV. And it was a moment that so many people watch together and you get sucked into it. Now, 30 years later, anytime a new OJ documentary comes out or a new show about it, I still watch it because it was that moment where it just kind of like made you feel connected to the world. And I was 13, 14 years old. So I still remember the trial and what came after it. And it just is one of those super interesting things to me.
Now,
So I know you're a
I
few
was with
years
you
younger.
though.
So I don't know
I
if you were
was okay. So my mom had a, of course, it was like a CRT TV, but big box TV, but it was a small TV in her bedroom, and she was getting ready to go somewhere, but flipped on the got a phone call and flipped on the TV, and all of a sudden, of course, it was the white Bronco headed down the road in what was actually a low speed pursuit
low speed, yeah, the
ever,
slowest
right?
chase ever.
But I was too young to be fully brought into the fold on what exactly was happening. So I said, "Why are we watching this Bronco?" She said, "It's a car commercial." So by the end, I was ready to buy a Bronco.
Right. Yeah. Well, he was. I mean, in fairness, he used to be the
Right?
spokesperson
Yeah.
for Hertz Rent a Car.
Natural
So
segue.
very well, then
And I
they
know
should
that
have
this
thrown a
isn't
Hertz
where we're
ad on
going
there.
with this, but the new Broncos, I do love them. But if somebody says I drive a Bronco, you have no idea what that looks like. It could be two-door, it could be four-door, it could be a hard top, a soft top. Like they're good looking vehicles, but they're so configurable that you can't pin them down.
Well, and they have the Bronco Sport,
Right.
which really isn't a Bronco. It's like I like them, but I can't afford them.
Listen, as
So
soon as this
I'm
this
still gonna get one.
podcast hockey sticks, you're in business.
I just don't know how you buy a Bronco that's not white. Like, how is that happening?
Well, this brings
They
us
should have
back
one
to
colors
cultural
available.
touchstones. They're
OJ
not
white.
there for this generation who's doesn't understand the value of the white Bronco.
No, or yeah, there's no way that they would probably understand the reference. And it was a moment, like one of the biggest moments
Right.
in
And
the
and
90s.
then skipping ahead a little bit, I mean, obviously 9/11, which the mind-blowing part for
Right.
me was of course the day, but then later on teaching kids who eventually weren't alive for 9/11. And so you're just like, what do you mean you weren't alive for
Right.
9/11? Well, I'm 15 and it's
Right.
2017, so I thought you were the math teacher.
Yeah, that is great because it was, what are we at? 24 years ago this year, it'll be. So, I mean, that's an entire, I mean, you could have been born the day it happened
Yeah,
and lived a
right.
full
You
adolescence
could be in and out of the
in
army.
college. Right. Yeah, because that's another, 9/11, because people, if you weren't alive for 9/11, or if you were not, you know what I'm talking about, but it was a moment where there
Right.
was like unity,
They
like
literally
cultural
ran out
American
of
unity. You
American
could
flags to
not
sell.
buy, right. People were they
Right.
were printing them in the newspaper. So you could get like the bifold or whatever, the full page flag that you could hang in your window because people were so patriotic. And you fast forward to today,
Yeah, you
I don't know
fast
if that's
forward
going to
to
be a
today.
problem.
For the American living today, my first thought is don't look at your everything's fine, but don't look at your 401k.
Panikins, isn't that what Trump called them?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen this? It's a new group of people. I think it was called. It's a new group of people that are too stupid, at his words, to kind of understand the situation, and they're called panikins per Truth Social. So
I'm sure
don't be
that
a
will
panikin.
make the dictionary this year.
Yeah, that might be the word of the year
So,
if it
okay,
catches on.
and I know we've talked about this in other pods. I see the longer arc of things, and I thought that really where he hit the nail on the head was with the analogy of you have the sick patient and you've got to give them the medicine, and in order for them to get better, there's going to still be a period of a disease, unease.
Yeah, yeah, and
Absolutely.
then you got to rehab it
So,
back, but you have to find the problem first. So I mean, it'll be. I mean, my economic knowledge is not as vast as others may be, but I do see the value in not letting people just freely trade with us or not have the
For us to
same
participate in
issues
a
that we
trade
get to
deficit
deal
with
with.
no
Because what
plan
I,
to get out of it.
right. Yeah. It's one of those things where it just has been happening for so long that it's just a status quo. And so once somebody changes it, they think it's the world is ending. And honestly, if you look at your 401, which you obviously said don't do, if you look at it, you do think, oh man, it's time to cut the hole in the
Yeah,
mattress and stuff it with cash because
right.
this is getting
And
bad real fast. But we've been there before. I mean, it's
that's
gone down, it
exactly
comes
right. I
back up.
mean, it's definitely not a time to be a panicking.
Well, it's still above, at least it was last week. It was still above where it was a
Yes,
year
because
ago.
last year we had an exceptional year. However, we have dipped into bear market territory, which is when the market has dropped 20% from its all-time highs. So in the S&P, definitely in the Nasdaq, and I'm pretty sure in the S&P as well, we're in bear market territory, which again, all you can do is lock in a loss by selling right here. So though, smart money is on ride it out. Add fresh cash if you can right now. Everything's on sale.
Right. That's what I was actually reading before we came on here today was people talking about if you have
Yeah.
extra cash, now's the time to throw it in there and see what happens. But I'm not going to do that.
Did you catch the teacher part?
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of extra floating around. If there was, I'd have a white Bronco
Absolutely.
with the glove and all.
Oh, yeah. I have a friend of mine. He owns started as a small, I think you would now say as a medium sized business. And he actually came across some fresh cash. He bought a $50 lottery ticket. And on the first
Okay.
scratch, he won 50 grand. So he calls his boss, who's also his buddy, and says, "Oh my gosh, I won 50 grand." He said, "That's great, man." The guy keeps scratching. Every single box is 50 grand. In total, he had won
Yeah.
$1 million. And even after taxes,
Yeah.
withholding, penalty, etc., $495,000.
495 out of the million
Well,
he
you know how the
won. He
lottery
got
works. It's always
495
we'll give it all to you over 20 years, right?
annuities.
If
Right.
you can wait, it's all yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in 20 years, that million is not going to
No.
be
So,
the
of course,
same
my
value.
buddy's question is, are you still working for me? Because that could have
Right.
changed the game there for
Yeah.
a minute.
That would be an interesting discussion that I'd like to have at some point of waiting the 495 and then being like, should I? Because then you think, how many years of
Right.
working would I have to hit that? And then it's like, well, I have it now. And then if I'm still
Well, see,
working,
I
it's
thought where
just
you were going with
added
that was that you would like to have that
onto it.
conversation with your boss. And my thought is, would you? Or would you just like, hey, if you don't hear from me, you can just assume.
Yeah, I think it'd be the value. Well, I would, because I care about the kids, I
Absolutely.
would
For
finish
the
out
children.
the school year.
Yeah,
I would
no
finish
doubt.
for the kids, right? Yeah. They count on me as a mentor. So
Yeah.
I would stick it out
Uh-huh.
for the rest of the school year. And then I would write a personal note to every kid and give them my true opinion of their situation. And then I would bounce out. Here's the real version.
I think it's very wise that you are withholding your opinion until you scratch off the winners.
Right. And by the time that scratcher ever comes through, those kids will be
So
graduated. So it
that'll
won't matter.
that'll
And I
all
don't buy
work out.
scratchers. So there's that.
So I think that we had the other thing in education this week was not such a good thing here locally. A gentleman who I'm not going to say his name was the principal of Bach Academy North in Florida. Did you hear this story? So
No.
he
But
got
I'm
some
interested.
bum advice from his friends. His friend said, "Hey, listen, I've been getting really good deals at Walmart." And he said,
I
"How have
did
you
see
been getting
this.
the
I
good
did see
deals?"
this.
They go,
Yeah.
you go to self checkout. You don't actually have to scan every item that runs across the register. He goes, "Really?" And they go, "Oh, yeah, no, they don't expect you to scan everything."
Because they tell you that the reason they do it is because they understand they're going to lose. They save money by what
I
people
think that
steal
that's
than what they
understood, but I
pay
don't think that's like
their
something they
employees to do it.
print on the wall.
Right. I mean, 20
No
years
doubt.
ago, for
But
sure, you
now
could have
with
gotten away with
AI
this
and all that, yeah,
with the self scatter.
it's less promising.
Yeah. Maybe they don't know what that camera is directly above the register
Well,
is for.
this gentleman found out, and how okay, so clearly this is not good. He did get arrested, and so we do, empathize, obviously it wasn't a good act, but how much do you think the grand total of his theft ended up being, which cost him his job and everything else? He was an
As an
administrator.
administrator, so he's probably doing pretty good. I hope. Well, they don't have lobster there anymore. So hopefully it was something of high value, but I don't even know what Walmart sells. It's high value anymore. So I'm going to say maybe it's a
Okay, that's a good
TV. People run
guess.
off with TVs or something.
Sure.
Maybe a couple $100. I don't know.
$37.45.
$37
Yeah,
and
that's
45.
rough, man. That's rough.
What was he buying? Like chicken nuggets, like the
It was
rotisserie
it
chicken. I
was
mean, what are you
shrimp
doing
was at least
with
one of
that?
the items. You
Well,
were
I was on the seafood
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, that's a problem. So, I think the lesson here is just buy it. Just whatever it is, just buy it. I will tell
Right, because you don't have to have it ultimately at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
that's
Like, don't
true.
get the shrimp.
And I think the problem was that he was, like, there by himself, because I will tell you this, if you want absolute mayhem at the register, you just hand the 5-year-old the scanner gun and just let things happen, because all of a
Right.
sudden you're like,
Yeah.
"We scanned that, we didn't scan that." I have
Wait,
no
I didn't buy
idea.
4 of those. Yeah, when you have yeah, that is a real experience for the parents out there when you take your kids to the self-checkout,
And then the
and they're
8-year-old says
always
the
wanting to do
5-year-old's
it
doing it
themselves.
wrong. Well, yes, of course he is.
Right, and then you're scanning things, they're scanning, and then it's even if you go to Aldi, if you're familiar with Aldi, because they don't have the proper
Right.
belt or tray or anything. So, like, sometimes you're just scanning and putting back
Yes.
into your cart. Because then because you go to the far side to load up your stuff. So I mean, you're grabbing stuff, the wife's grabbing stuff, the kids grabbing stuff. So it's like, wait, did we scan that? Did
Right.
we scan that? Did we not scan that?
Listen
And then it's like, now I scan my
Listen, call
bags.
the
Have I bought
cops.
my
I don't
bags
know
yet?
where I'm at in this whole thing. Like, I'd love for them to come in and audit.
Right.
Right,
Take my
yeah, what is
37.45
whatever it
or what?
is, just bring it up and I'll
Well, now there is pushback because people don't like the self checkout. If you've been to Walmart recently, they're starting to go back to the cashier.
I am a kind of an infrequent I'm kind of an infrequent, like, anywhere shopper. My wife does the grocery shopping. It's something she takes great pride in. She
Uh-huh.
feels that getting a deal is a competitive sport, and she is there to crush the
Okay.
competition.
Does she do
Yes, but
couponing?
kind of in a letting other people do the research kind of way. So she fought I
Do you remember
do,
when
yeah,
extreme
right.
couponing
Like
was a
they would
thing?
buy $500 worth of
Like
stuff
there
and the
was
store would have
TV
to pay them
shows, like there
$3.
was like right, like there was the how to. I know what it was. You clipped the coupon. Like that was the how
No,
to.
you
Like
needed like
you.
notebooks and you needed a
But
rack.
well, my argument to all that was because I knew some people that did it in my previous life, and I would say you're saving money, but you're basically working another
Right.
job
No doubt.
to do it. Like how many hours are you putting into this? Like what's the trade-off in terms of what you're getting? Like did you need 6 Clorox
Did
bleaches
you
this
need
week because of the
36?
coupon? Right. So I mean, where you and what always makes me kind of chuckle is when people spend money and think they're saving money. Like I had to pay more to get the discount, but you just paid more than what you needed. You didn't need 2 of them. You only needed one, but you paid $8 more to
My
get the
grandfather
deals.
always said you can go broke saving money.
You still lost.
So that
Yeah.
that was his take on
All
that.
right.
And he was always good for a one-liner and particularly a pointed one. Did you see the couponing movie on Netflix called Queen Pens that had Kristen Bell in it? And it's based on a real life story. Okay.
No, because well, they really
They
ran with that. Hollywood does that when something becomes hot. Like they push
But
every
again, this was
resource to it.
actually based on a real story. What these women did is they figured out, okay, instead of just like $1 off, $2 off, if you wrote a letter to the manufacturer and said, "Hey, my Cheerios weren't cheery enough," they would say, "We're so sorry. We will send you a coupon for a box, 2 box, 3 boxes." So they start this process and they're getting the coupons from the manufacturers just for free product, but they're not getting them fast enough. So they figure out the company that is literally publishing, printing the coupons. It's right across the border in Mexico. No problem. They go they go down there and
Seems already unsafe.
they make ties with the workers in this operation, and they say, listen, we need some of these coupons to fall off the truck. And this is where it gets good. They then set up a website selling the coupons. If if it's a if it's a
Well,
$40
yeah, that is
roll of
good.
toilet paper, they'll
Yeah.
sell it to you for 20 bucks. Now, have you ever heard of could be too good to be true? Yeah, that's clearly where we're
Yeah. A
landing
couple
on this.
times.
And needless to say, they did end up getting in trouble. It was actually the Postal Service that busted them. But the interesting thing about the whole thing is that even though it accounted for millions and millions of dollars, like they themselves collected and cleared like $3 million. And at a retail value, it was like triple that. When it came down to it, nobody pressed charges. Not Procter and Gamble, not any of the big consumer staples companies, because they didn't want to be affiliated with one, being ripped off, two, that they were now suing and sending to jail these soccer moms that were doing this. So they only ended up getting like a year and 18 months. So, as far as crimes go, they seem to skate by on that one pretty easily.
I have purchased the
Purchase a
Lowe's
Lowe's
coupons. Have you ever
coupon.
done
Oh
that?
no.
You can go on eBay. You can go on eBay and buy a Lowe's coupon. So for like 4.99, you can buy like a 20%
Oh,
off
why
coupon.
for 4.99?
Yeah, so for like five, so if you're buying like a washer and dryer and it's gonna be $500, you get like the 10% off coupon. You buy the coupon for $5, and then you get the
No.
200 or the whatever I just
Gary the
said. The
3.
numbers off, 20% off
Right.
of 200, so
Excellent.
yeah, $40 off there. So you're coming out ahead. So when we were doing home renovations and stuff,
That
we would buy coupons all the time. Some of them would take it though. You go to some and they're like, oh, we don't use
wow.
internet coupons. So then you gotta go to the next Lowe's. But my argument's
Right.
always like, do you want me to buy it or no?
They'll
Because I can
take
go to
my
Home Depot
coupon. In fact, they'll take your
and do the
coupon.
same thing. Right. So, right. Yeah. So let's be smart, lady.
The
And why do you
other
care? You're
thing
just a checkout person.
the other thing that I have done is there's a website called Card Cash. So that the family's in town and they're all there, and that you're going to Carrabba's. You can go on there and you're going to spend a few $100. You can go buy a Carrabba's gift card at 20% off.
Mhm.
So you buy $100 gift card and
Well,
you only
yeah.
pay $80 for it. Bingo. No.
Just got to buy
In
multiples.
fact, most of the time I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You probably have to buy multiples because you probably have to buy like a $50 card, a $50 card, and a $50 card. Yeah.
Yeah. Sam's Club
Yeah.
does that too. You get discounted coupons
Bingo.
or gift cards. There was something I was going to, oh, PlayStation, PSN, they're like
Nice.
15% off.
Right.
Yeah. Sony, you
Well, I think
listening
that
to
we've
that?
transitioned from
That's a
white
plug.
dads to white moms that can't jump. You got a top five? You got a top five for us tonight?
Good point. I'm going to stick
Uh-huh.
with the movie genre, but I'm going to narrow it down to a specific actor who's very near and dear to many, many guys my age. And that is the one and only the
Arnold.
Governator,
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we're going to run through, again, these are in no particular order, but just know that there used to be a time, for those of you listening, there used to be a time when an actor would open a movie, meaning that you would say, oh my gosh, the new Arnold movie's coming out, the new Stallone movie's coming out. And that is the era of which these movies are, because it was exciting to go see that actor. Now it's kind of dead.
Right. And
There's no
going
real
back to your
movie
original
stars
point,
left.
that
But
it was a touchstone. Like everybody would be excited for it to be coming out.
yeah, yeah.
Another
Now it's
streaming.
just a character. It's the new, yeah, it's something ridiculous. So, all right, first one we're going to talk about, and hopefully you've seen all these. And if you haven't, again, like last week, go see it. First one,
Yeah. Classic.
Predator. If you haven't seen Predator, again, also, most of these movies are like 80 to 90 minutes long. So they're not a huge investment. There's zero emotional
I mean, unless you're pro
needs
alien.
to be involved here. Right. And most of the time the good guy's going to come out ahead.
Right.
So you feel good at the end. And you're going to get some
Wait, wait,
good
wait.
montages, some 80s
Okay. I want
workout
to take a shot at
montages or
this
whatever it
now.
might
All
be.
right. So Predator, that was low hanging fruit. I should have gotten that one. Uh True Lies has to be on there. Jamie Lee Curtis.
It is. You know, True Lies, I feel like that's one that doesn't get the love that others do because
Yeah,
it's not as
I think
bombastic
that's what I like about it.
or like
Rage.
masculine
Yeah.
fueled. Right.
Yes.
Because there's more of a story to it.
And
But
Jamie
it
Lee Curtis
is,
brings a nice
I mean,
balance
that
to it.
is really good. Right. Because it's kind of a comedy. There's some funny elements because you got Bill Paxton's character in there who's funny, the used car salesman who is a fake spy to get women. And then you got Tom Arnold, who's Arnold's partner
Yeah.
at the
Secret
NSA or
agency.
wherever he works, some
Okay, I'm ready
security,
for my next shot.
high clearance, secret agency.
No, wait. No,
All
wait,
right,
wait.
next
I
one.
wanna
And this is
guess.
in,
All right. So
okay.
we've got Predator, we've got True Lies. Terminator has to be on there.
I didn't put Terminator, but,
Seems bold.
but I put
Okay.
Terminator 2.
I was going just
I went
Terminator
Terminator, I went
franchise. Okay,
T2.
that's good. Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, because T2, I mean, I think in everyone's
Absolutely.
estimation is the superior movie. That was a big one. You know what's fun too about these movies is that they're also marketed to children because you would
Well,
have
this was the 80s. Like they
the toy
marketed
line.
cigarette gum. They marketed all sorts of inappropriate
Right.
things.
Yeah, so when Terminator 2 came out, I was like 10 years old. I had all the toys. I went to the movie like opening weekend. Like Subway had like
Pretty
Terminator
Jared.
cups with their meal deals. So I mean, pretty, yeah, pretty.
Wait, do I
All
get to
right, so the
guess?
next one that was
Okay.
also, oh yeah, just keep guessing. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you even if yours aren't on there, I mean, there's some good ones that I left off
Man,
just
and
because it's
I
hard
am
to get down
not
to that one.
Googling
But
this at all. So let's see. Wait,
you want to give me a
Danny
hint? You want me to
DeVito,
give you
Arnold Schwarzenegger in Twins.
Twins? Twins, yes, Twins
Yes,
is a good one. So what's great about Twins, is obviously, if you haven't seen it, the kind of the joke is that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are twins, but they're like scientific experiments. Like Arnold got all the good genes and Danny DeVito obviously didn't. And so they were doing this experiment. And so it was kind of this fun little story where they meet
right.
up and then they realize they're
Probably
brothers. And
it feels more
it's fun.
nonfiction, but
It's
yeah.
fun. Kelly Preston's in it. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Okay,
All right. I got
I'm
one
out.
more on there. I'm going to give you a hint. Singing through a mall.
This is a Christmas movie. Jingle All the
Oh,
Way.
it's not that one. Oddly enough, he has multiple movies where
Okay.
he's doing crazy things in a mall. This one is
Nope. Okay, there's
Commando.
homework. No.
You've never seen, oh my gosh.
Where is
This
this on
is
your
the
list? Is this
quintessential
number one?
action movie. There's literally not a moment where it
Okay.
could be depending on how I feel that day. Because it is pure, it's like there are crazy montages. You got car chases, you have people being impaled by pipes,
Of course.
you have Alyssa Milano as a small child, that's his daughter, she gets kidnapped, and he is like, I'm gonna get her back. And I don't care who's
Yeah.
going down. He jumps out of an airplane at one point. It's crazy. It's really good. I would highly recommend. And it's like
It's
88 minutes
right in
long.
the sweet spot.
It's good stuff. He does it all. Drives,
What else
flies,
could you ask for?
shoots, robs a gun store with a bulldozer.
Okay, speaking of all of this action, I forgot there was one more story I wanted to share with you this week, and I just kind of felt like it would resonate with you. So and you're going to be surprised to know this is a Florida story. There was a Florida woman who reportedly stabbed her sister during a drinking session with an EpiPen. What did she say the reason was that she stabbed her sister with the EpiPen?
Ooh, stabbed her sister with an epi. I mean, if she was trying to defend herself, she would say that she was having allergic reaction
Close.
from the
She said
alcohol.
that she was allergic to drunks.
So she was getting rid of the problem. So she used the EpiPen on her
Right.
sister for her own
Right.
medical condition.
Right.
Okay.
I'm positive it
I don't
made
know if that's how
sense
those
in
work.
her mind at the time.
Where'd she stab
That
her
is
at?
a wonderful question. I don't. Let's see what Florida Daily said happened here. Florida woman stabbed her sister during a drinking bender. Yeah, no. Oh, in Naples again. Man, Naples is kind of a rough neighborhood. Like things
Man,
could fall in
Naples.
your house. Your sister
Wow.
could stab you. Like I know that it's a
Who
nice
knew?
spot, but I think everyone should be a little aware.
Maybe it's like West Palm, where when you go like a quarter
You're
mile
in the
the other
wrong
way, it
neighborhood.
becomes not the billionaire
I think
glitzy
that could
and
be it.
sunshine and rainbows over there. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
we hit the top
Naples.
five. I appreciate that. I do have my homework for Commando. We next week we are absolutely having our first guest. We're still staying quiet on who it's going to be, but we're pretty
Yes.
darn excited.
Yeah. But it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be good stuff. I know everyone's enjoys just the
But
two of us, but
here we go. We're gonna try the 3-pack here and see how this goes. So, main man Chad, any parting words here? All right.
no, third one down. Excited
All right.
for number
Be
4
good, white dads.
next week. Every Wednesday.